Hello Aries, Aries rising and Aries moon people. This is your weekly astrological and tarot forecast for the week starting November 7th, 2016. A quick reminder for you guys, your November monthly astrology horoscopes are up on a special playlist if you want to check those out. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com, where you can order a downloadable video file or schedule an appointment. So, what is going on with the astrology for y'all this week? Seems to be all about Aquarius for everyone, and for you that basically means your social life. You know, what's going on with your friends. On Tuesday we've got the moon in Aquarius forming a gorgeous sextile to Venus between your 11th house of friendships and social networking and your 9th house of higher learning, higher education, as well as, you know, government legal proceedings or even international travel, spiritual growth. The 9th house is a big house. And when we have the moon forming a sextile that way, it's talking about your social network working for you in this way. This could actually be a great week for those of you who are looking to maybe find a new partnership opportunity, whether it be romantic or professional, through an existing networking group. Or if you are looking to perhaps have somebody do a referral or, you know, make a referral effort on your part to get you more customers or maybe get you into sort of a VIP group or setting or something where there might be some restricted access, this is definitely the week where somebody's going to be pulling those strings for you. We also have later on in the week Mars moving into this area of your chart. And this is where we tend to have the on our honor, you know, by our own, you know, sort of oath, that kind of brotherhood, sisterhood kind of vibe, again, because it's going into that friendship and social networking area for you for the next month and a half. You can expect a lot of close friends to start acting a lot more on your behalf where you might need them to, whether you're asking them to or not. We've got good looking out for you Aquarius people. This could be some really important setups happening, maybe even some protections that you've been looking for. So what is going on when it comes to your cards for this week? Well, let's find out. We do have for your spiritual advice, we have the card of the Fairy Norn, which is talking about cooperation. Okay, when we see this card, you know, we say cooperation, well, okay, that makes a lot of sense because we have so many, you know, planets moving into group areas. This is not a week to be thinking too much with a inward focus, you know, or with, you know, too much of an individualistic kind of philosophy. Because the Fairy Norn is basically saying the more inclusiveness, the more mutualism you practice this week, the further you're actually going to go. Usually this card can show up for people who have made too much of an effort of trying to go it alone, or, you know, making it kind of about proving themselves, and what we need to do instead is, again, make it more about the we, not the me. Because, again, if people are already going to be sticking their neck out for you, which it looks like they are with the astrology, we want to make sure that they know that they don't have to walk on eggshells in order to work on our behalf. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Knight of Cups, upright. Wonderful card when it comes to the professional sphere because we have people actually going out of their way to try to win you over this week. Usually the Knight of Cups can show up as sort of a professional courtship opportunity if you've been looking to maybe score, again, more clients or a brand new job. People are going to be actually making offers to try and win you over. Again, more like professional courtship. In fact, the Knight of Cups upright could indicate sort of a representative or maybe even like an emissary from a corporate entity or a business entity that you, whether you've been looking for them or not, is actually reaching out and knocking on your door. The Knight of Cups upright can also indicate on a more personal level an opportunity to perhaps get closer to somebody, you know, with an office romance kind of flair to it, but just be careful with that Neptune in your 12th house. This might not be something that we want to kind of mix too many areas of our life with together this week. There's going to be a lot of tension, I think, sometimes when we do the office romance kind of thing. Either way, though, the professional courtship is definitely good news. For your communications with air, when it comes to the messages you get from friends and from relatives and things like that, we've got the Eight of Swords inverted. And this card, again, is leaning a lot back on the astrology because it's talking about a friend or a relative actually going and clearing something off your to-do list for you, or eliminating an obstacle or a troublesome priority, again, on your behalf. Now, with the Eight of Swords inverted, this can indicate something that's been held up for a long time. So if this has had to do with negotiations or with other friends or other relatives, sometimes the Eight of Swords inverted can talk about dealing with a person who, for the longest time, they've been just sort of mentally and emotionally kind of paralyzed. They're not willing to put up anything for the team or take one for the team, much less do anything for themselves. But when it's reversed, now we have an opportunity to sort of get that, that roadblock out of the way. And luckily, it doesn't even have to happen by your hands. So you may actually get a call of success or, some good news coming your way through that. It's like, I've taken care of it. He or she is no longer going to be holding up the works for us, so, good on that as well. So ultimately, it seems like a very, very nice, smooth week so far for the Aries people. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Queen of Cups upright. And remember what I said before about walking on eggshells? This is kind of where the issue is this week, the challenge, is that with the Queen of Cups upright as a person, this is not necessarily a bad person, okay, even though she's in a challenged position. But this can indicate somebody in your life that, going out of our way to walk on eggshells around her, for whatever reason, is starting to actually get in the way of more important matters. And I know when it comes to dealing with a person's sensitivities and things like that, we don't want to be too callous and cold, but we do need to make sure that we understand what is and is not practical, what is and is not for the greater good. And when the Queen of Cups upright shows up as a challenge, it's basically talking about where can we find a way to sort of make sure that this person, does not feel like they are being rejected, but also, they're also not feeling like they, need to be there at the same time, if that makes sense, So I'm not sure what area of your life this is going to fall into. This is, again, the challenge area, so this could be somebody who has a habit of being everywhere. This could be a coworker. This could be a neighbor. We're trying to make sure this person doesn't feel rejected, but also at the same time, it's almost too much to have this person around. They do want to help, they do want to be supportive, but it's, that's the hard part about the walking on eggshells. It's like, they have the best intentions, but they might not necessarily belong. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Ace of Pentacles upright. And this card can indicate really good news on the love and romance front for you guys who are looking to kind of get something grounded, get something stable if things have been a little bit too chaotic as far as the pursuit of love and romance is concerned. Maybe schedules have been out of whack, availability has been inconsistent, and we need to kind of get something nailed down. Maybe not nailed down in sort of like a, just sort of like a sufferable routine, but more like getting things back on, back in order. If you've been noticing that a crush or a partner has just been kind of a little bit disturbingly erratic lately, or if we've been having problems with, maybe even getting some old issues taken care of and done and gone for good. The Ace of Pentacles does indicate a new beginning that is sort of inhospitable to drama, which is really nice. In fact, the Ace of Pentacles, some of you who are actually single and looking for somebody new may find somebody within the friend zone, so to speak, who may actually become something more. So that is your forecast, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.